Welcome back, YouTubers, to another TNA Impact Wrestling review with us, the British Fist. In it, blood, ka-ching, and all that kind of bollocks. British Fist here, Mr. Parkin here, NJ here. We're in kind of mute mode today. I don't know why NJ is in mute mode, but subscribe down below if you want to see more from us. Like this video, please, and comment your thoughts on this edition of Impact Wrestling down in that comment section below. You guys know what to do. So with the Corpus Christi show coming up next week, we kind of expected this show to be more hyping towards that. Next week kind of feels like a sort of pay-per-view version of Impact. We're having a lot of stuff hyped to it. We've got a lot of stuff hyped up tonight even more. It kind of felt like a sort of mini go-home show in a way to that show next week in Corpus Christi.
Because we had this discussion earlier today where we thought we've got about 8 weeks between now and the pay-per-view. So we needed special shows like this. And the fact we've got this one coming up, it kind of separates the build between now and then. So for the show being big, like it's a big deal to TNA, yes, it's not the same as a proper pay-per-view, but at least it's giving us something to look forward to.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll pop a rating as well. Also, tomorrow, which is a Friday night, we will be reviewing and watching the first one-night-only pay-per-view from TNA, mainly because it's all about the X Division, and that is one of the reasons why we both started watching TNA. So look forward to that review tomorrow night.
I'm probably going to go more detail, but with TNA only recently bringing back the X Division as an important thing, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's pay-per-view, shall we call it.
And I even bought it as well, so there we go. We open up this show with the Aces and Eights without Bully Ray, offering AJ an Aces and Eights shirt, which will play on later on in the night. D'Lo Brown wants someone to tell him face-to-face why he was fired, which brings out Kurt Angle, who takes down D'Lo Brown, and then the babyfaces come out to help him. We get that massive brawl, which leads to a 10-man tag team war later tonight, which was advertised on the YouTube and the TNA website earlier.
It's just a shame that Taz doesn't have this thing where TNA could fire him, because who wants Taz to still be around? But it's happened to D'Lo. It's 5-on-5. At least it's a big match for all the Ace members involved, including Knox, who's not really been doing anything since he joined the Ace and Eights.
It's all about Teflon Taz in TNA, NJ. So that's set up for our main event match of the evening, not necessarily the main event segment. We had Velvet Sky and Terran Terrell versus Gail Kim and Terra. Yeah, this wasn't really about the knockouts, was it? This was more about Joey Ryan sleazing and pleasing himself with the knockouts. You know, if I was in Joey Ryan's position, I'd probably be doing exactly the same thing.
This was absolutely ridiculously boring. The funny thing is, this was the best way TNA could give Joey Ryan something to do on a show, and it seems like he's got the hops for Gail Kim.
Why not just get a normal ref out there playing of those knocking around backstage? Can't a ref just fill in? I don't know. Joey Ryan fast counts Gail Kim. It was very hard to focus on this match because of the whole Joey Ryan stuff. Terran and Velvet low blow Joey Ryan to end it, which is kind of the payoff, I guess. Next week we're going to get Gail Kim versus Terran Terrell, so that should be a good match, hopefully. We had a contract signing for the tag title match. This is going to happen next week at Corpus Christi. The first thing that I noticed was there was no entrances shown, and everyone was in suits apart from Hernandez. Maybe Hernandez just doesn't suit suits.
He wants to show off his big muscles and his attire and stuff. But the thing about this is that this was what we needed. Some hype up to next week. The tag team match being one of the big things happening next week. But they were all in the ring. Bobby Roode, Aries, and the tag of Hernandez and Chavo. This felt good. I was liking this, especially with what happened during this moment.
Yes, they added some stipulations to the match next week. We got the announcement that it will be a 2 out of 3 falls match. And if Chavo and Hernandez lose, they will never team again on Impact Wrestling. So I do wonder if they're going to win the belts next week. I just think with the tag team division the way it is, they just cannot afford these two to break up.
I think with TNA, they must realise that Chavo and Hernandez are not doing as well as they should do. So I guess this might be a way to put Chavo into the X Division and Hernandez somewhere else. I'm hoping, but the fact they've added this stipulation, I'm pretty sure fans who weren't enjoying that tag team are going to be thrilled with this possibility.
Indeed. We'll see next week what they do with this. Should be a good match, though, at Corpus Christi, where the Chavo and Hernandez will probably get a massive pop, probably, in Texas. Adam Pearce versus Magno was our gut check match. Out of these two, who are you more impressed with based on backstage promo, wrestling, what you saw?
I think with this, they both did an okay job, but the Adam Pearce guy, I think he just led a bit more of a stronger direction.
Yeah, I felt his promo was definitely a lot stronger. You kind of expect that, but TNA don't really have a masked luchador babyface either. So, Pearce gets the cheaty win with the ropes being a heel and everything. Yeah.
With that particular move, maybe the judges are going to think, right, you cheated when you don't win a clean lead, we don't want you, or they may use that as a clever way of finishing. So I'm looking forward to the progression of what they do with this.
We had a backstage segment, interesting one, where the Aces and Eights are once again trying to convince AJ Styles to join Aces and Eights, and that led us on to our next segment, where you had Hulk Hogan wanting to talk to AJ Styles, wanting to know what is going on, and he wants AJ Styles to actually align with TNA and help out the company against the Aces and Eights. Obviously, AJ Styles' character right now is kind of an independent, doesn't really know what to do kind of guy, and that's really how I feel it should feel. That's really how I feel it should stay, personally. Then out comes James Storm, talking about how he beat AJ and how he left him lying last week and how they both helped build the company and he's not the same guy anymore, and AJ is needed to help TNA against Aces and Eights. As we feel should have happened, AJ walks away, kind of looking at the Aces and Eights shirt. It's a shame the segment just sort of cut off as much as it did, but this was some dynamite stuff in there from Hogan, from James Storm, and especially between James Storm and AJ Styles. James Storm was very good on the mic tonight. I thought this was a good segment.
I'm going to break my silence just so I can echo your words. Hogan, I was like, another Hogan segment, yeah. But obviously he's trying to gather his true TNA employers to go against the Aces and Eights, so I get why they did this. But James Storm's might work. The fact he can rant, he can go on, loud voice, add passion to his voice against AJ, continue the feud there. I thought that was great might work. AJ stick to his character. Him join the Aces and Eights, we did speak about this during the show. I feel that, in my opinion, the Aces and Eights should ditch the wrestlers who are not really doing much, who they thought would be a great idea bringing to TNA, and put in wrestlers like a Matt Morgan maybe, AJ, Anderson, the wrestlers that you want to bring back to TNA in a strong way, especially with the Aces and Eights regrowing as a dominant faction once again because of Buddy Ray. I do feel AJ, Morgan could possibly be two good people to replace some of the ones they've already got.
Yeah, I just feel with AJ's character lately being this like independent, don't really know what I'm going to do, kind of Crow 1997 Sting style character, should really just be himself and not join Aces and Eights and maybe not join TNA just yet. We'll see what they do with that. Apparently he has 1 week to answer on where his allegiances lie, which is another thing for next week's show. The X Division match this week, Sanjay Dutt, Petey Williams and Mason Andrews. I think only one person was going to win this match. And who did the crowd want to win this? It was a pretty obvious choice this week, wasn't it?
With Petey Williams being a character that even the commentator said, welcome back, they're really bringing him up as a guy that they wanted to see. The performance was still strong as ever, taking nothing away from the others who did have their spots in the match. If you watch back this match, which I recommend you do because it was a good match, good X Division match, which we want to see more of. But with the way it went down, Petey Williams back in action.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Petey Williams get the victory here. The match went about 5 minutes. I think the other match they had last time was a little bit better personally, but Petey Williams wins with the Canadian Destroyer. It's good to see that move again in TNA. He's going to be involved with, I believe, Zema Ion and Kenny King in the next freeway, whenever that's going to be. Aces and Eights versus Kurt Angle, Joseph Park, Magnus, Samoa Joe, and Eric Young. Not really too much to say about this. Aces and Eights get the victory by low-blowing Joseph Park. I think Joseph Park was the right person to get the pin there, as you don't really, his character doesn't really need to get wins. Was Doc legal in getting the pin, though?
By the end of the match, it did get confusing who were the legal ones. But the way I like this, I prefer if Eric Young got the pin and we probably got more of a tease of Joseph Park's bleeding thing. That seems to have disappeared. But this match, Aces and Eights get their second win and the face team got their dominance. But I think the standout ones were Samoa Joe, Joseph Park, and on the Aces and Eights, I think it was more the Doc.
Joseph Park is a very, very good character. I must admit, I'm very into that character. And when he got the hot tag, I really actually wanted him to take out the Aces and Eights. But that's just me. Aces and Eights get another win. And when was the last time we saw them getting 2 wins in a row, MJ?
Fucking MJ from stealing my tweet from earlier, talking about how the Aces and Eights are only winning matches and looking good because someone like Buddy Ray has been revealed as their leader. Well, believe me, TNA, No one is buying none of your shit and believing in the Ace and Eights. Sooner or later, the Ace and Eights are going to lose their steam, lose their power, because TNA, those fucking worthless mortals are just as bad, are going to beat them down and finish them once and for all. But believe me, if they don't, I fucking will. But the thing I want to talk to you about today, worthless mortals, is last week in Full Killer's video, I invaded it, I had my words, and believe me, 4-Dimension Full Killer, Worthless Mortals, TNA, British Fist, the best is still yet to come.
So next week's Corpus Christi show, they have a lot for. They hyped for the Bully Ray and Jeff Hardy match in the main event segment of the evening. The tag title match got a nice segment on this show. Gail Kim versus Terrence Rowe was announced, and AJ Styles is going to make his decision. So that's 4 reasons, in my opinion, to look forward to the Corpus Christi show. I am quite pumped for that show next week.
I will say this, though. The main event angle didn't really do that much justice to their involvement next week. I think the week before did the better job, but we'll talk about the main event segment now.
Bully Ray face-to-face with Brooke Hogan. This was advertised on TNA's website and will probably be the thumbnail for this video. You have Bully Ray coming out, starts off talking about his match next week with Jeff Hardy, etc. We have Brooke Hogan coming out, Bully Ray calling Brooke Hogan insane. Bully Ray gives her front row tickets to the Corpus Christi show, but instead Brooke just rips it up and slaps Bully Ray. Then you have Jeff Hardy coming out when it seems like Bully Ray is going to do something heelish and despicable to Brooke Hogan. They brawl for a bit.
This is the thing. We laughed, we clapped, we ran applause. Yeah. Bully Ray back in full steam against his wife. Where's your wedding ring? Very entertaining.
Woman.
Yeah, the way he brought this was the Bully Ray I wanted to see. This is the Bully Ray we love. He hyped up the match against Jeff Hardy where they brawl. It weren't really as strong as last week, but I'm glad we got the Bully Ray full strong heel again against Jeff Hardy, a top favourite. I
do wonder if Brooke Hogan is going to have some involvement in this main event match. I can't help but feel that might tie into this somehow with the fact that they got the main event segment on this show. They've already hyped up to this match fantastically, in my opinion. So this was, it didn't hype the match up brilliantly, but it was still there, and it hyped up the match somewhat with the brawling afterwards, even though it kind of didn't seem like they just kind of cut off it too quickly. But there you go. Overall thoughts on this week's edition of Impact Wrestling, MJ?
Pretty solid. I'm not going to complain about this. I thought this was really entertaining in numerous parts throughout the show. The X Division, I think it's not just because of this show tomorrow. I'm hoping they're going to bring it back full steam. The Ace and Eights winning again, making them look dominant. But my little rant here is that it's all because of Bully Ray. If Bully Ray never joined this, the Ace and Eights would have gone down a big losing streak continuing. And I think TNA's booking, just because Bully Ray's the president, let's make the Ace and Eights look better. I'm not buying it.
It's a good job Bully Ray is their leader then, isn't it? If you're a wrestling purist, there wasn't much wrestling on this show. This show was purely designed, in my opinion, to forward on the relevant storylines onto next week's Corpus Christi show, which is going to be a show which is going to have quite a bit of wrestling on it. So if there wasn't much wrestling, if you guys love wrestling, you're probably not going to like this show too much, but the segments and the talking and what they did in this show hyped up to next week's show quite well. I say this was a solid effort from TNA this week. Wasn't as good as the show 2 weeks ago. It'd be hard to top that show, but still a solid show, continuing the post-lockdown good show streak, in my opinion. And once again, I'm really liking this new direction that the TNA is doing post-lockdown.
They're continuing the Hogan and Sting. There's a few mentions of that. Sting weren't here, but I think the highlight of this was more the X Division. I think they've done quite well with the X Division tonight. My
personal highlight, James Storm and AJ Styles. My personal highlight. That's just me. But give us your thoughts down in the comment section below on this show. Make sure you check out our review of One Night Only TNA X-Travaganza and X Division $15 pay-per-view where storylines aren't really relevant. Tomorrow night on Friday, and from the British Fist, thank you very much for watching this show.
And for people that missed it earlier because I was doing a silent thing like AJ Styles, what's up? Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.
Well, clearly there's something you want to get off your chest here, so why don't you go ahead and
When I first put this plan of mine into motion, it was all so simple. That limey, gimmick-stealing asshole was claiming to be the leader of the Aces and Eights, So I made everyone think that you were the leader instead, just to get under his skin.
And Bray Wyatt coming back was
Mr. Parkin, you made the wordless mortal Bray Wyatt back, but in a recent video you said that Falconer is the leader of the Ace and Eights. Well, we've been to this before, Mr. Parkin.
Mission accomplished. Everything was nice and simple. Would have been great if it had stayed that way, but then the Aces and Eights turned into what they turned into. Losers, incompetence, jobbing every week, piss poor lineup. All of a sudden, being their leader wasn't really something to brag about anymore.
I'm going to keep this short because you know you've let me down again. Tonight the Ace and Eights have let me down. This is not acceptable on my terms. Ace and Eights each and every week, you're getting worthless. But yes, you may have got Anderson in our faction. That is not good enough. This week, you've got Wes Briscoe and Garrett Blake Bishop in your faction. Next week, the Stinger's going to try and take us out. Do not let that happen. Do not let me down again. They're in the ring, fighting their way, trying to make us give a damn about them when we don't. You face Sting, that worthless mortal, and you lost. As for the Ace and Eights, if you continue to let me down, I'm going to have to leave you because you're letting me down. What the hell? He's a cranky old man and you couldn't take him down. Damn it, you let me down each and every week. Ace and Eights, do something better because I swear, in a few weeks to come, I'll put an end to you, each and every one of you. I am going to take you up one by one, and that's going to be the end of you. You are the useless. The Ace and Eights faction are absolutely worthless. Fucking let me down! They are absolutely nothing. They mean nothing to me. You lost a match. I swear, Ace and Eights, the end is near. Mark my words. Ace and Eights, you fucker!
So, like all rats are wont to do, he abandoned that sinking ship, and he then tried to make you the scapegoat to wash away the embarrassment that he'd brought on himself.
Maybe Falconer should have you as his boys because you let me down! This worthless faction should be given to someone as foolish as Falconer! So why not give this worthless faction to the real leader of the Aces and Eights? Falconer.
And in an ironic twist of fate that no one could have predicted, my brilliant plan to discredit him ended up becoming his life preserver.
Evil Falconer was right. This faction does not belong to me. Why the hell would I waste my time with a faction that cannot be in the ring and win matches?
That is something one does not do. I could not and will not let that pass. But, unlike the bandwagon jumper, I always finish what I start. I made everyone think that you were the leader of the Aces and Eights, and I was gonna ride that horse until the legs broke off. Now that that's done, it frees me up to finally focus on my real target. Or at least it would have if you hadn't barged in on me like a dumbass right when I was about to enter Phase 2!
And the machine lies prostrated before me. You will know that you bore witness to the magnificence of the unstoppable, undefeatable, one true...
Hey, what's all that noise? Are you Skyping with someone in here?
Get out! Fuck! I don't want to know.
So, it all finally makes sense. I was just a pawn in this game, wasn't I? Really makes you realize just how insignificant we all are. So what happens now?
Well, Plan A was derailed thanks to you being the biggest jackass on Earth. So now, for Plan B, I'm gonna... What the hell? With this again? What the...
Terminator NJ.
What the fuck?
No! No!